Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you guys are tuning in once again. This video is going to be about my nursing journey. I'm going to answer some Q&As and talk about my nursing experience so far. So I hope you guys enjoy. Okay guys, so I'm reaching a more specific audience in this video. So you're either watching this video because you want to go to nursing school, you're in nursing school, or you're trying to find a nursing career. So I just want to talk to you guys and also any of my friends or anybody who is curious about what I do or how I got there. So I'm gonna get started just talking about getting into nursing school very briefly, because I want to kind of focus on people who are in nursing school and or about to graduate nursing school. So it was in high school that I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. I was given the opportunity to follow a nurse in the NICU as a part of one of the health science programs that was offered in the high school. So I knew pretty early on that nursing is what I wanted to do. I began taking college courses in high school, and that kind of got me ahead of the game. I went to a junior college and did my basics there, which I feel like was the easiest way to go. It was cheap, affordable, and I feel like the classes were relatively maybe a little bit easier than a university might have been. In a junior college, there's about 20 to 30 people in each class, and then in a university, it's like 50 to 60. I took my basics or my prerequisites for nursing school at a junior college, which I highly recommend. It was fairly easy for me. I got out of my prerequisite courses with a 4.0, which I think is very important to have really good prerequisite grades, because that's what you're going to be using to apply to nursing school. And nursing school, as you know, is very competitive. The career of nursing is, although it's very abundant, it is also very saturated. There's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of you within each city. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind when you are performing in school. You have to give it 100%, and you have to pretty much drop your entire life. Would definitely recommend doing prerequisites at a junior college and then beginning your transfer to nursing school. I did get into a nursing school in Houston, Texas. I was accepted into about 4 to 5 nursing schools, and I waited for the school that I wanted. It was an accelerated program, 15 months, to get my bachelor's degree in nursing. I also recommend going for your bachelor's, but some people can afford it, some people can't get into a bachelor's program, which is completely fine. We all take the same NCLEX at the end of it. Just do what you have to do. If you truly love nursing, you'll do whatever it takes and you'll get through it. I went to a 15-month university in Houston Medical Center. That is where I received my BSN in nursing. I passed my NCLEX within 75 questions by using UWorld, which is my #1 tip for the NCLEX. Use UWorld. Not the cheapest thing, but I promise you, worth it. Do not buy any of these Kaplan videos or these review books. You don't need any of that for the NCLEX. Just need UWorld. That is key. For a second, I just want to talk to my nursing school friends or anybody who's watching this that is in nursing school. You will get through it. It is awful, torturous. You can do it, I promise. My nursing school friends, people that are in nursing school or they've been accepted to nursing school, my personal experience with nursing school was awful. I almost became depressed. I felt like I was being just kicked and kicked and kicked. I felt like I couldn't pass any of my exams. I felt like, how am I going to be a nurse when I can't even get through the education part of it? I felt like a complete failure. I didn't fail any classes, and I was able to stay with my cohort throughout the program and finish it in 15 months, but I felt completely disconnected from the world. I had no relationships with my family, my friends. I had no time to go to the gym. I had hardly any time to sleep or do anything for that matter. It was hard, and I just felt like I wasn't fit for it, and it was very discouraging, and it made me second guess my decision to become a nurse. And I just want you guys to hear that, because that's the truth. I hear a lot of people saying, I loved nursing school, it was great, like I had so many great experiences, I met all these amazing people, my professors were so inspiring. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I don't feel like I'm a negative person at all. I feel like I'm a very positive person. I was so glad to be done with nursing school. After nursing school, I'm like, I'm never going back to school again, because it was awful. And I want my nursing school friends to know that you are not alone. It is hard for a reason, because they have to weed you guys out. They have to make sure that you're fit for it, and you are. You have the heart, you're inspired, you love people, you want to be God's hands on earth, and I believe it. I believe that everything happens for a reason. If you got into nursing school, keep that sliver of hope. You are going to become a nurse, and you're going to save lives, and you're going to touch people. And I think it's very important to keep that in your mind, because I absolutely hated myself in nursing school. I just had this little voice in my head that would just tell me constantly, like, you're an idiot, why did you do this? You're not smart enough for this. There were kids that were like 4.0 in nursing school, and I had come from getting a 4.0 in my prerequisites, and I was like, I've got this. Wasn't the case in nursing school. Yeah, so I think it's important to just remember, you know what? These grades and these crazy tests asking me which apple is redder than the other red apple, it doesn't define you as a nurse. It's pretty ridiculous, actually. I know a lot of great people in my nursing program with beautiful hearts, with the biggest hearts and the biggest will to just help people that did not make it through our program. And that just baffles me, because it shouldn't be as hard as it is. But I think that there's so many of us, it has to be who's the best, basically. And you have to fight for it, and you have to fight like you want it. And if you do that, you study hard, you dedicate your time, you're gonna get through it, and you're gonna be an awesome nurse. I really, really hope that that doesn't discourage you, and just, if you're in nursing school, just feel like, wow, I suck too. No, you don't. I'm trying to relay a message from the past Jacqueline to you guys, or I'm trying to tell you that it is gonna suck. I just want you guys to find the little bit of positivity. I want you guys to think about, right now, I want you to think about, why did I become a nurse? Why am I doing this? Remember that core reason why you become a nurse. Maybe it's a relationship you experienced in your life, or some type of experience, some type of wish or will to just help a person. I want you to remember that every single day, and remember, why the heck am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this terrible, terrible time? I also just want to clarify that everybody's experience is different. Maybe you're watching this and you're like, nursing school is a piece of cake and I loved it. Good for you. Good for you. I'm truly happy for you, because I wouldn't wish this upon my enemy. And I feel like I'm being so dramatic right now, but it was worth it. And I think that's the key of that entire dramatic message. It was worth it. And that's just what I want you guys to take away from this. The people that are in nursing school, it's worth it. And I know you hear that time and time again. And I know that it's hard to believe that when you're under so much stress, when people say you're gonna do fine, you're gonna be great. It's hard to believe in that, but just have some faith in yourself, have faith in the Lord, turn to Him, and just breathe, get some rest, eat some good food, and just hang on to that little tiny sliver of hope that are in the cracks of that nursing school building. You'll find it. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions about anything nursing, and you guys did, but I can only answer a few because I really don't want this video to be too long. So first question is, I've always heard the hours are very long. True. So in a hospital, you're going to work 12-hour shifts. It ends up being about 13 to 14-hour shifts because you have to get there early to get report from the nurse before you, and then you're gonna leave later because you have to give report to the nurse that's coming in to get your patient. If you are working in the OR, I know sometimes you do 10-hour shifts, 4 10s, I do 3 12s. I also know that in the clinics, you're gonna work a more consistent schedule, like a 9 to 5. Also, as a nurse, you have to work holidays and you have to work weekends. So that's something that you sacrifice. You don't work every single holiday, but you're gonna work half of the holidays one year, and then the next year you're gonna work the other half of the holidays. But I will say the scheduling is very clutch because you only work 3 days a week. And if you schedule yourself right, that could give yourself up to 6 to 7 days off without requesting PTO. And I think that's really awesome. And that's why nurses travel so much. About how many patients do you have a day? So this is very different depending on the type of nurse you are. So like I said, if you're an OR nurse, you're not gonna have any bedside patient. In my case, I work in an ICU. I'm in the NICU in Houston. And I feel like this is accurate for most ICUs. You're gonna get less of a patient load. So if your patient is very, very sick, then you could have 2 nurses to 1 patient. Most of the time in an ICU, you'll probably have 1 to 2 patients just because your patients are very critical. And if your patients are not critical, you'll have about 3 patients. If you have more than 3 patients in an ICU, you're probably not working in a very safe hospital, just being honest. If you are in a transitional unit, like my old unit, our max was 4 patients, which we would get pretty busy. Even though I was working night shift, 4 patients is quite a handful. I know that like med-surg units, they can give you up to 6 patients and an admission, which I have never had a patient load that big, but I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine keeping up with 6 lives within 12 hours. That just blows my mind. So I give you major kudos if you have more than 4 patients per shift. Do you find yourself emotionally drained a lot, especially since you work with kids? So yes, just straight answer is yes. My old unit, I feel like I was with pediatrics and more specifically cardiology, and there was a lot of hope there. There was heart transplants and multiple surgeries where we can reconstruct the heart, whereas in the NICU, not so much. We get a lot of critical patients, and I think that's true of most ICUs, and it is emotionally draining. I don't know how people come home from work and leave their work at home, because I come home and I want to talk to somebody about what happened during my shift at work. It's just some advice. Prayer definitely works for me. I think it's really important to be strong in your faith, and if you are not spiritual, then I highly recommend definitely doing some major cardio, maybe some stretching and yoga. Yeah, it's hard, but I think as nurses and even nursing students, or before we go into nursing, people know that that's part of the job. And I think that you'll tell people what you go through at work and they'll be like, oh, I couldn't do that, and that's fine. Some people can't, and some people just can't carry that heaviness, and it's okay. Sometimes I feel like I can't either, but it's part of the job. You pray it out and you come to work the next day and you do everything you can, and that's that. When did you know nursing was for you? What sparked this career choice for you? I feel like I talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the video. I shadowed a NICU nurse, and that's when I knew I wanted to do nursing. I did fall in love with the NICU, but then I think I just kind of loved the idea of being God's hands, serving people in a place where they are most vulnerable and most lost. And I felt like watching the nurses work in the ICU just made me feel like these are angels. Like, they're superhero angels, and I wanted to be part of it. I love the team of nursing. I knew at a very young age. I also had a lot of role models, which I'm very blessed for. I had cousins and aunts and friends that were already nurses. I saw their lifestyle. I saw how satisfied they were with it, and I said, sign me up. Austin's calling me. 1 second. Oh, I missed the call. Hold on, let me call him back or he's gonna be upset.
Please leave your message for 28.
Rude! Let's try this again.
Hello?
Hey. Okay, I called him back, it's fine. On to the next question and last question because I don't have time. How accurate is Nurse Jackie, the show? I've only watched like 6 episodes of Nurse Jackie. To my knowledge, she is addicted to narcotics because she has some type of pain in her body, and so she's stealing narcotics from the hospital, which is completely illegal, and you would lose your license and your job immediately, and they would send you to some type of therapy. Also, that would not be possible these days because it is extremely hard to pull narcotics, especially at my hospital, which is a children's hospital. The other thing I know about Nurse Jackie is that she's cheating on her husband with the pharmacist, which probably wouldn't happen either. I think for the most part, it's not very accurate. I think she works in the ER, and it's a lot of craziness in there, which is accurate. There are some crazy things in the ER. I feel like you see a lot of emotional things on there. She goes home and she's hurting because of a patient experience, or a certain patient kind of just touches her, or, you know, this or that. Those things are true. You do experience emotions like that. As far as the drugs and the sex and the crazy stuff happening in the hospital, I don't think that's accurate, and if it is, I don't associate myself with that, so I wouldn't know. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is my personal experience in nursing up to date today. So I've been a nurse for about 2 years. I did a clinical in nursing school in pediatric cardiology, and I was hired on to the unit, I think like 3 months before I even graduated. So that was a blessing, such a blessing. Definitely apply for jobs before you graduate and before you take the NCLEX. They will hold your spot and hire you before you're even an RN, which is what happened in my case. I worked there for about 1.5 years. Absolutely loved that unit. I fell in love with cardiology, which I didn't even know. It challenged me. I worked nights, which was awesome because of the pay and also because of the environment at night is just way more fun than it is on days. Night shift has type B personalities and day shift has type A personalities. I am a type B personality, so I had a lot of fun on nights. I think it's so worth it to start on nights. You're gonna meet your best friends. You guys are gonna literally be having sleep, like all-nighters, sleepover all-nighters every night when you go to work. It's so much fun. I do think that you don't learn as much at nights because you don't get to experience the same patient rounds. You don't get to experience the post-op opportunities. You don't get to experience the MRIs and x-rays and all those things that happen during the day. There is pros and cons for days and nights. I loved my management. Patient population was so cool because we would get little tiny babies that were post-op heart surgeries, and then we would also get 2, 3, 4-year-olds that were there because they needed hearts or they had a new heart diagnosis. And then we would get older kids who were previously diagnosed as children and now they were in heart failure or other things. I learned a lot. I got pretty confident with my cardiology background. I have nothing bad to say about my old unit, except for the fact that I got to a point where I felt stagnant and I felt like I wanted to expand my career. I wanted to gain more nursing skills, and in one unit that was such a specialty, I felt like I was kind of hitting a wall. Although, don't get me wrong, I think that I could have stayed and continued to learn and continue to grow, but I needed something more intense. I also really loved the infants on the unit. If I got a baby on my assignment, which was very common on our unit, I was so excited. I love to have baby spa day at night, give them all baths, get them all cozy. They were like my best little friends and I loved them so much. So it got to a point where I started applying to ICUs within my hospital. I had applied to multiple, but my main focus was the NICU. I had always wanted the NICU, I loved the babies on our unit, and I wanted an ICU. So it was all three things just combined into one. Also, they were hiring on day shift, so it was a perfect opportunity for me to transition from nights to days. Although I loved night shift, I loved the pay, I loved the people, it just wasn't healthy for my body and my lifestyle. I got hired into the NICU and I have been there for 3 to 4 months. I am completely overwhelmed by the acuity of the patients in the NICU, by how critical they are and how sick they are, and the things that we do in ICUs that are way different than a step-down unit like my old one. So I'm still getting used to the NICU. I would love to do a video just about the NICU, but I don't want this video to go on for too long, and I hate just sitting in front of the camera and talking about myself. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm going to once again wish my nursing student friends a good luck. I love you guys so much, and I just want you guys to know that it's hard. Nursing school is hard, and nursing is hard, and you're gonna make it through. You're a good person, and God has you there for a reason, and He wants you there. He wants you touching people's lives, and I think you guys can do it. I really do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that some of you are motivated, and don't forget to take care of yourself. I love you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Comment below any nursing people or nursing friends that want like specific videos about UWorld or specific videos about the NICU or pediatrics or nursing school, whatever it may be. Please comment below, because I feel like I post videos that people aren't necessarily interested in. If you guys could just let me know what videos specifically or what you want to hear about as a nurse, I will do it for you. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll try to have this video up as soon as possible, and I'll see you for the next one.